I want your loving and I want your revenge. You and me could write a bad romance. Hello everybody, this is your Lemon40 here bringing you the next Elements tutorial. This time we are discussing the element that 99% of newer players will pick, and that is fire. Fire looks the coolest, and it has some of the best control cards in the game. First things first, go to your deck screen. As always, you take out all of the other cards. And because Fire has such a unique starting deck, you can take down all of the water cards. Go to the bazaar and sell off every single one of the cards you just took out. Once you do that, go to the Fire tab and buy 4 more Fire Spirits. This is a Fire Spirit deck, and while it's not necessarily the strongest fire deck, it is a very unique growth deck in that Fire Spirit is the only card in the game that can be grown from its own element. I'm sorry, by 3 Fire Spirits, not 5. Add them to your deck and you'll end up with 5. Now the tricky part. We need to figure out what to take out, yet the only weaknesses in the deck we have are the Immolations and the Ash Eaters. However, you want to sell off your Rain of Fires. Rain of Fire is a great control card, but you really don't need it against AI 3 this early on, especially with this type of deck. Because Rain of Fire is such an expensive card, you can sell it for a good chunk of change, so thus now we buy a Dragon. Dragons are usually not the greatest thing to add to decks, but they make a great addition for some elements, like Time. Time loves its Solarian Dragons. Anyway, add our Crimson Dragon, which is a 12/3 creature, to our deck. Take out 1 Immolation, sell that, go to Fire, and buy 1 Forest Spirit and 2 Fire Pillars. Once you get those cards, add them all to your deck, of course. Now take out the Immolation, 2 more Ash Eaters, and now we have our extremely basic Fire deck. Now you could really go anywhere with this. You can take out the Fire Bolts if you want less control, add a Fire Shield, you can add more Dragons, which you should. You should replace the Dragons for the Ash Eaters eventually once you get more money. But really, this deck is so customizable, and it's really one of the better starting decks. I'll change my quality to low, but you should be able to handle high quality just fine. You should be going to level 0 if you want to complete the quest. I'll be fighting level 1, but you should be fighting level 3 with this deck right off the bat after you finish the quest, of course. We start out with a very good starting hand with plenty of pillars. Fire has one of the few shields in the game that can kill creatures, and that's very valuable. Fire Shield deals 1 damage to every attacking creature. So say if a Crimson Dragon attacked, because it's a 12/3 creature, it'll become 12/2 after it attacks, and after a few turns it'll eventually be killed. So it's a fantastic shield to add to any fire deck. Play your Crimson Dragon if you have it. Immediately after turn 3, we already have a 12 attack creature on the field, and that's very valuable, even if it is very brittle at 3 hit points. Firebolt, if you don't know already, deals 3 damage for every 10 fire quantums in your possession. That means that, it's kind of worded weird, no matter what your quantum count is, it'll always deal 3 damage regardless of quantum. However, after you reach 10 quantum, like I am now, it'll deal 6 damage, and it adds 3 because of that 10 quantum. So you can build a deck that's based off that and get ridiculous amounts of damage later on in the game. Play your Ash Eaters if you have them, just a very simple 1 quantum 2 attack creature. It's as basic as you can get. Our opponent played a Firefly, a very simple air creature that generates light quantum every turn. Creates some very good synergies. Fire Spirits, the strength of our deck. Now what Fire Spirits are they are a 2 fire quantum creature that comes out at 0/2. That is a very brittle creature. However, every turn you get to use the skill Ablaze. Ablaze means that you can spend 1 fire quantum to gain 2 attack. So after 6 turns of using Ablaze, you end up with a Crimson Dragon for 2 quantum less. It just takes turns to get up to that point. Now, fire is definitely one of the best control elements in the game, and it has some fantastic cards. It's even there's even a PvP based deck called the Fire Stall, which is arguably overpowered because it uses that great stalling power of shards, and it still deals some awesome damage. As you can see, I use the skill of Blaze, and it's now a 2/2 creature. And that's great because if your opponent offers no control, which I think my opponent isn't offering now, it's awesome. Every turn you should be activating a Blaze unless you're doing a video tutorial, in which case you can forget to use it. Now, if you haven't noticed, I placed a Fire Shield out. That means this Firefly, instead of 3/2, is now 3/1, and it should get killed next turn. Keep using a Blaze and whatever skills you have. Now see, our creature just got killed, and that can activate any death effects that you have on the field, like Boneyard or Bone Wall or anything. Now, for some quick math, Firebolt deals 3 damage plus 3 for every 10 fire quantums in your possession. Now, if we have 40 quantum out, that means it's 3 added to 3 times 4, which is 15. So right now, I can use that on my opponent's health to deal 15 immediate, mostly unstoppable damage. As you can see, some pretty awesome fireball animation there. Now he's 9 hit points left. There's really nothing he can do. We have awesome control of the board, and that is Fire's point. Now, again, Fire has so many options for the decks you can make. You could go a Fire Golem deck, which uses Earth as a growth type thing, and you get the high hit points from growth instead of just a Blaze. You could go a Firebolt deck. You can add more Fire Shields. If you get the rare weapons Fahrenheit, you can add 6 Fahrenheit to the deck and get ridiculous amounts of damage later on in the game. Now, you didn't get to see it, but we do have a card called Deflagration, which means we can destroy the targeted permanent. So if there's, say, a Fire Shield on your opponent's side, and your creatures are very brittle, so they'll lose in 2 turns, you can use Deflagration and get rid of it so it's no longer a problem. This is definitely one of the best starter decks, and I hope you all have fun with it. See you all later.